I sought to find out why these cases are on the rise, and this is what Dr. Grace Oggudah, lifestyle coach, told me.
I have to get to the cause root of why this is happening, because things just don't, these are just symptoms of deeper issues. We need to look at our society. People are under a lot of pressure. We are seeing mental health being such a big issue lately. People are tipping over the edge. You know, there's really high stress levels, and sometimes what causes somebody to tip over the edge is relationships. In relationships, you know, all those things that have been suppressed for years can show up, because I think as human beings, it's in relationships that we find solace. And if we look at most of the cases, you will see it's relational. You know, it's not just somebody woke up and picked a random person and killed them. It tends to be relational. So there is a kind of rapport that has taken place that has gone pear-shaped. So what I would say is, let us be inclusive in the conversation so that we find a solution that's long-lasting. We need to be careful that we do not cause the situation to get worse by trying to eliminate. Women are kind of fighting their corner, men are fighting their corner. Ultimately, we always have relationship. We were built to work together. So my thing would just to say that I think we need to have an inclusive conversation. Falling apart, and we need to also address things like parenting. You know, the family is the backbone of the society. So sometimes, you know, I think as parents, we know our children, and you can see if things are going pear-shaped. And sometimes children are traumatized just by the dynamics of the family. You know, it could be you're coming from a family where you've experienced addiction, you've experienced violence, and what we tend to do is we reproduce these things. So it's important to look at the family dynamics as well. Is there somewhere that we can actually offer support for families so that we can intervene earlier? We are almost waiting for the truck to crash before we kind of think, okay, let's check if the engine is working well. Let us have a look if the wheels are okay. Those are the points we need to catch. We need to look at our schools. How do we actually bring in some kind of, what can I say, programs in the school to really make sure that every school has a counselor? And I think also to get rid of the stigma that's around mental health issues. There is a massive stigma around that we're still working on to kind of try and, we don't want to use the word normalize, but then if you're going through tremendous stress, when you go for some kind of support, an external support, it does not mean that you're mad, you know, or it doesn't mean that you cannot function. There are people who unfortunately are functioning, but then they are at the edge of tipping. So what it would take is one thing to go wrong and they completely fall over. So I think we should be able to find solace in our family, and that is not always the case. So we need to push for something, including our churches, our community leaders, our schools, those fundamental, or can I say grassroots levels, to try and address these issues and put in place things that can try and support this.